J.K. Rowling's rewrote the opening chapter 15 times. Harry Potter. The name brings instant recognition from people all over the world. The books have sold over 350 million copies worldwide. Only the Bible has more translations. The movies have gone on to grace the lists of the top 10 grossing films of all time. When Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was published in 1997, Joanne Kathleen Rowling was a previously unpublished author. She had no publishing credits, no insider knowledge, no friends in the industry. So how did she do it? The answer to that question lies not in what she did in those 10 years between the publication of the first book and the publication of the seventh, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. The answer actually lies in what she did in the 7 years prior to the first book's publication. It was 1990 and Jo Rowling was on a train between Manchester and London. Harry literally strolled fully formed into her mind while she was gazing out the train window at a field full of cows. She spent the next 4 hours, the train was delayed, imagining Harry, the world he inhabited, the friends and enemies he had there and the dangers and joys he may encounter there. She had nothing to write on, so had to be content to play this all out in her imagination. By the time she got off the train in London, the central cast of characters were already cemented in her mind. But did she go home and immediately begin scribbling a story with these characters? No, she didn't. She spent 5 years, yes that's right 5 years, creating and developing every last detail of the wizarding world, including government and education systems, how the wizarding world stood shoulder to shoulder with the Muggle world, and she devised a highly sophisticated system of magic that would eventually form the backbone of her own special brand of writing magic. On top of this, she sculpted out the entire story, planning the details and events of all the 7 books, before she put pen to paper to begin writing the first. Would you attempt to build a house without plans? J.K. Rowling planned the Harry Potter series for 5 years before she put pen to paper on the first book. She wrote the entire first book, and felt as though she were carving it out of this mass of notes. All the planning was worth it. She was able to devote herself to the actual task of writing, knowing that all the story and character elements she needed were covered. Jo Rowling said she felt she had to do right by the book. Jo Rowling rewrote the opening chapter of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone a total of 15 times. Her own mother died just 6 months after her first attempt at chapter 1 of that book, and that sent her into a frenzy of rewriting, essentially changing everything. The Potter books are about death, there is no doubt about that, and they are driven particularly by the death of Harry's parents and his miraculous survival. When Jo Rowling experienced such a major turning point in her own life, she rewrote the story to reflect and process her own pain. In J.K. Rowling's case, she realized after writing the entire first book that she had given away the entire plot of the 7 books. She rewrote it in this light, and held many things back. It is clear from the Harry Potter series that J.K. Rowling was more tightly edited at the beginning. The first 2 novels are barely more than 200 pages, and by the time we get to number 5, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, we are faced with a weighty tome of over 700 pages. J.K. Rowling has shown the world what is possible if you adhere to the basic processes of the art and craft of writing a good story. So before you attempt or think of giving up, just wait for 10 seconds and rethink, did she give up? You could be the next J.K. Rowling. Subscribe us to get more motivational story of achievers who can inspire you to be one.